Welcome, welcome, welcome once again to Three Up and Three Down. Today we'll tackle Saturday's college football DraftKings main slate, which begins at 12 o'clock. For those of you new to the channel, welcome. Here we give you three up players, players that I think you should pay up for because they're worth the price, and three down players, players that I believe are undervalued and will have a really good chance of outperforming what their cost is. If we go back and take a look at what happened last week, it was a really strange week for us. First of all, I sent out a notice about 11 o'clock last Saturday telling you that one of my three down players, running back Kanye Udo of Army, was kind of dropping on my list. I still had some hope for him, but I wasn't going to be as heavily exposed to him as I normally would be. I'm glad I was somewhat exposed to him because he had a monster game. And the player that I was the highest on, another Army player, quarterback Bryson Daly, apparently the U.S. Army knows how to keep secrets very well because he was injured. We didn't find out he wasn't going to play till about 2 hours before the game. And that really opened things up for Udo to have the game that he did. We had one bust in Jeremiah Smith, a wide receiver, and three other really good players. So hopefully that got you to the cash line, and hopefully we can help you win some money. Now I'm going to go over to my screen right now, and we're going to go to the three up players. Let me take a look here. And we are going to start off. I'm going right back to the well again. Quarterback Bryson Daly of Army at 9,500. Army is playing North Texas this week. It is the implied highest scoring game on the slate. An unbeaten Army is only a 4-point favorite. That indicates that there's could be a lot of points scored in this game and a lot in a close game. How bad is North Texas's defense? Of the 24 teams on this slate, it has the second worst run defense and second worst pass defense. Daly has only thrown for 629 yards and 7 touchdowns in 7 games, but he has run for 909 yards and 19 touchdowns, most in college football. Imagine what he can do in that offense, which is a misdirection offense, when his opponent can't stop either the run or the pass. I said I was going back to the well, and now I'm going to go to a player that I stayed away from last week, even though I mentioned him after having him several weeks in a row. And that's running back Taj Brooks of Texas Tech at 8,400. Again, all these prices are for DraftKings. Tech plays Colorado this week. Sometimes you just have to take a sure thing. Brooks has had over 100 yards every game and scored a touchdown in all but one. This is the game with the third highest implied point total. There is a really good chance this will be close for 4 quarters, which would keep Brooks heavily involved. And the final one of my 3 up and 3 down, we're going to stay right in that game with wide receiver Travis Hunter of Colorado. He is 9,500, and as I mentioned, they're playing Texas Tech. One of the Heisman favorites for his two-way play now squares off against the worst pass defense on the slate. After back-to-back horrible offensive games, those were his first subpar fantasy performances of the year. Hunter had his best outing last week, catching 9 passes for 153 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now we go to the 3 down part of the slate. And shocker, shocker, for the second time ever, I'm going to have 2 Army players, and it's going to be the same 2. I'm sorry, I'm going back to daily screen here. We're going to go with running back Kanye Udo. Kanye Udo of Army. He is the one that I mentioned had a monster game, 22 carries, 158 yards, and 2 scores last week with Bryson Daly out. If Daly happens to miss another game, he is a must start in every lineup. He has run for over 100 yards and scored a touchdown in 4 of the last 5 games. And again, North Texas's defense is absolutely awful. Next on the 2 down slate, we're going to go to wide receiver, actually a tight end, Colton Loveland of the University of Michigan at 4,800. Michigan plays Indiana this week. I mentioned how important consistency was earlier with Taj Brooks. When you have a sub 5,000 player you know is going to be involved offensively, you almost have to take him. And what seems like something out of the Twilight Zone, Michigan is a 14-point underdog at Indiana. If that holds true, the Wolverines will have to throw the ball, despite the fact that they've had awful quarterback play this year. Despite the bad throwers, Loveland has caught at least 6 passes in 6 of 8 games and is coming off his first 100-yard game of the year. And finally, on the 3 down slate, and this one's going to be a little risky. We give you a risky one every week, but the last several weeks it's paid out. And it's going to be running back Dominique Thomas out of Mississippi, who is only 4,000, and they are playing Georgia. Last week's risky play was wide receiver Henry Thomas, who had over 22 points, a great total for his 3,200 price tag. Mississippi starting running back Harry Thomas has been ruled out. Backup Matt Jones is doubtful. Thomas is next to 9, and someone has to run the ball. He had 10 carries last week for 41 yards. That's Mississippi running back Harry Parrish is out this week. Georgia has a good run defense, but there is a decent chance of rain in this game. If that's the case, Mississippi will have to rely on the run even more in its biggest game of the year. Kickoff is at 3:30. So if you're going to play 3 running backs, I would suggest using Thomas as a flex. That way, if you find out Jones is playing, you have a chance to move him for a running back or receiver. Once again, thank you for joining our channel. Thank you for enjoying 3 up and 3 down. Hopefully you make some money. And if you like these types of videos and you want to see more on this channel, please hit like, subscribe. If you leave me a comment, tell me you subscribed. I will answer any line of questions you have prior to 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. Until next time, I wish you guys lots of winning this week, and good luck to all.